morning there. You're watching QTV This Morning, and I am Jenna Bosonko, and it's good to be back on the show to accompany you in the morning. And I'm here with my co-host, Ibrahim Abalde, and our newspaper review guest, Ade Durami. So before we go further, I would just like to take this opportunity to send some condolences to the families and former students of Father Bruno Tupan. While I was coming to work, I saw a lot of tributes pouring in online, because actually he's taught a lot of young people, led to the discipline of a lot of young people. I think Balde can say something because he was your principal.
Well, I mean, when you talk about Father Bruno Tupan, I mean, you think about St. Augustine's High School. I mean, the way he molded a lot of students, and he played a very significant role in the education sector.
Right.
In fact, for me, I think I'm the last person to hear it. I mean, I'm just hearing it now.
Yeah, it's online.
I'm really shocked by this. It's a very sad news for all his students, and I think the Gambia, we've lost a very big icon when it comes to education. So I mean, this is a very sad day for the educational system of the Gambia.
Right.
Yeah.
So rest in peace.
So
yeah, he actually never, because obviously he was in St. Augustine's, which was just an all-boys school. But as a student from another school, students from St. Augustine's would always point at him as, oh, I have to be disciplined. I have to do the right thing because there's Father Bruno there. So he was just that figure where when you think about him, you feel like you have to do the right thing. So we really thank him for his service to the Gambia, and to his students.
At some point, when he left St. Augustine's High School, and he was moved to another school.
St. Peter's, was it?
Yes, St. Peter's. I mean, at some point, people felt that sense of discipline is no more present at the school, because he is a person that will try to inculcate discipline in the lives of these children, that's the students of St. Augustine. So at some point, his absence caused the school a lot before the arrival of Martin Gomez, where he also changed the narrative. So I think, this is a really sad thing for, the students of St. Augustine, St. Peter's, and a lot of students he taught. I mean, we are sending our heartfelt condolences to his family, and we pray may his soul rest in peace.
Yeah, I mean, so moving on, I think today we should start with current affairs on national issues, and then we end with Senegal, because the moment we start with Senegal, then the conversation will never end, and it will drag our entire time. We will not be able to talk about issues happening nationally. So part of, issues happening nationally is the fact that, Mr. Adi, 40 officials will be banned. 40 officials who are banned will be removed from government, because during the TRRC recommendations were made as to individuals who should be banned due to their involvement in one human right violation or the other. So it is believed that this is a step in the right direction, part of implementing the recommendations of the TRRC.
Well, that's right. I mean, the government white paper accepted most of the recommendations, if not all. I think almost all, 90-something% of them were accepted. So yes, and those were some of the recommendations, and it would be good to see the list, which of course we will see in due course, because they felt that due process had to be followed before these people could be released, but removed from office, and that is now happening, because people have been saying, oh, they're dragging their feet, they're not doing this and not doing that. So it's a step in the right direction, and it shows that unlike lots of other things that we've complained about, people pass laws, they validate this, they don't implement anything. Well, this one, it looks like it is being implemented. So yes, it's an interesting one.
Yeah, it's really a good one, like you said, to see the list, and that they had to take their time, because when TRRC ended and now it took a while, so they want to make sure that things are right. You don't want people taking back and forth to court again because of being banned and all of that. So it's a good thing that they actually took due process in this area. But aside from that, the government of the Gambia has also broken its silence when it comes to female genital mutilation, because the part of the conversation since this attempted repeal at the level of the National Assembly was that government was silent. What side is government in? A lot of arguments. Oh, they're being silent because they don't they don't want to lose
They want
votes
to
in
influence.
2026.
Well, I think
you know,
some people were saying they didn't want to influence
the
because
whole
because it's
concept
going
as well.
through
Yes.
the National Assembly.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and obviously majority is with the NPP. So finally, Fatou Kinte, during the CSW in the United States at New York, talked about the fact that government is not supporting this attempted repeal, finally breaking their silence. So there's a lot of conversations around it now that at least government is out to say where they are.
Well, that's right, and it's an interesting one because, as you rightly said, you know, people have been saying that, you know, why is government not commenting? And of course, in her role as Minister Gender, then you would expect at least that minister would have something to say about it. And that has now been said, and she's clearly enunciated the government position. And we wait and see. It's still going through the Assembly committee stage, and then we'll see when it is brought back to the committee what that does, because if we're honest, it might end up presenting the government with a dilemma. If the Assembly votes for a repeal, it then has to land at the President's desk.
To assent to it.
And he can assent or otherwise. And the convention is that most of the time that a bill has gone through and it's been voted for, the President
to assent. He's always
well, that's right, because that's the kind of convention. It's not necessarily the law, because the President has the power not to. But the convention has always been that the President will assent. So it will be interesting to see what happens in this case.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see.
If it reaches that stage.
Yeah, and also moving on, you know, part of the editorial on the Point newspaper today is talking about safeguarding freedom of the press. So recently, the NDI, the National Democratic Institute, as well as the Ministry, the Department of Information Services, under the Ministry of Information, convened a press conference where they were talking about the state of the ATI, you know, the Access to Information Law. And they also talked about the fact that part of the major progress that the ATI has made is the identification of individuals for the commission. They've already been identified, and they have to now send it to the cabinet for approval and scrutiny and all of that. But Mr. Ade, I can remember you sat there and, you know, warning us that, guys, it's not as easy as you think. It's not going to be as fast as you expect this law is going to be. That's and now 3 years, 3 years, 3 years down the line, we're still having a conversation about building a structure, actually implementing it. And sadly, even journalists also do not even know what this law entails, and the law is supposed to protect them.
That's right, and part of the reason I was saying this is not because I was necessarily being negative. It's just that I was involved in this.
But you were regarded. I was also looking at you, Mr. Ade, don't be too. I was like, Mr. Ade, calm down.
Because some people contacted me, you know, offline and said, oh, you know, you're being a bit harsh and so on. And it gives me no joy to say, oh, I was right, because I think if anybody had been involved in other countries about how difficult it is to implement something like this, they would have said exactly what I was saying. The infrastructure simply was not there to deliver on it. You know, each department, each ministry has to have a trained information officer who receives the requests and who processes those requests. We simply are not there. We're not even close to being there. You know, so you know, it's a long way down the line before we will get to that place. And I repeat, they have to be trained to do that work. It's not just anybody you can stick in an office and say, oh, do this work. They have to be trained, because there are certain procedures that have to be followed when somebody submits a request. They receive the request, you reply to tell them we've received it. It will take X time before you will get a substantive reply. And then by a certain amount of time, days, weeks or whatever, you have to give them a reply to that request. And if you are denying them the information they've sought, you have to spell out why. Because there's not everything that everybody asks for they can get.
Well, considering the working attitude of you know, people that we have in this country, I mean, then I think it will take many, many years again for this to be implemented. I mean, on this program we talk about you know, organizations whereby before you get access to a communication officer, it's a big deal.
In fact, I was going to complain about this on X, formerly Twitter, on Friday, because I was trying to get information from 4 different ministries based on requests for coverage that they had sent to us. All of them had desk line numbers. Not a single one was picked up. Not one. So, you know, I don't know why they bother putting these numbers on the letters they send out. What are they there for? From 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock you're trying and nobody's picking up.
Yeah.
Just stop it, you know. So you're right. Getting information is very, very difficult, if not almost impossible.
Well, at some point where communication officers will tell you, if I don't get the go-ahead from my boss, I don't think I should be able to give you that information. Or my boss, I'm not privy to that information.
I'm not privy. But the thing is, access to information takes that right or that excuse away, because the law specifies what can and cannot be requested. It's not up to you to say, I'm going to give it or I can't give it, or my boss says I can't. If the law says you should give it, you have to give it. It's end of story. There's no, it's not in within your remit to say, oh, I'm going to give it to you, or no, I can't, or my boss says I can't. The law doesn't care about whether what your boss thinks as far as that. If the law says you must release that information to the public, a person who makes a request, you have to release it. That's it.
Yeah, so moving on, I think President Barrow was recently visited by individuals who are in the fight or sensitization when it comes to cancer-related deaths and diagnosis and all. It's on the papers, and President Barrow is asking for partnership in order to fight cancer, because prostate cancer, cervical cancer and breast cancer is becoming really prevalent in the Gambia. And talking about that, you know, Catherine, the Princess of Wales, in a personal video, talked about the fact that she has cancer.
And she's had chemotherapy.
Yes,
and
she's
Prince
having
Charles is also being treated for cancer.
Exactly. So
and so is Ferguson, Sarah Ferguson.
Yeah,
so 3 members of the
royal family have cancer currently,
yeah.
and it really needs some strategic effort.
So you said the Gambia, but it's a global thing.
Yes, that's why I talked about the Princess of Wales.
We need it because the money that should be put into it simply is not there.
Yeah.
And it's the same in Sierra Leone. I'm actually a member of a cancer charity, the Sierra Leone Cancer Charity, and in many senses we've kind of leading. I mean, the cancer register that Sierra Leone now has actually belongs to us, but obviously we do it for the country. So the government did not even have a cancer register, and if you're going to treat cancer,
you have to know the figures.
Know the figures.
To guide you.
What's the prevalence of prostate, cervical, etc., etc. You need all of that, and unless you have a proper register where this is recorded, you don't know. You know, and then once you know, you then, okay, how can we treat in terms of, you know, resources and so on. So all of that needs to be. And so yes, as you rightly said, President Barrow is reaching out to partners to say, you know, help us with this. And again, I keep saying this, you know, and I'm sure when the OIC Summit comes around, he will be saying to some of those people, you know, can you help us with the fight against cancer?
And you know what, I think at a personal level, because sometimes we can only support ourselves personally. At a personal level, you know, we can be doing screenings, breast cancer, you know, if you Google it online as women, it will show you after your period how you can search for lumps in your breast. You know, if you obviously a sexually active individual as well, you know, you can go to SOS for a free, you know, cervical cancer test.
Sure.
You can do that for prostate cancer as well. Dr. Ja, he was here with us. Yeah, he talked about how uncomfortable checking for prostate cancer can be, but if it requires that there's a time frame that you can be doing it, keep doing it. Because cancer, it's really crazy. You know, I lost my grandfather to it, and it does not just affect the individual, it affects the entire family, because at some point you require palliative care where everybody has to love you, and you just have to be painless and all of that. So it's such of a huge burden. So I think it should be collective.
I mean, for me, one of the reasons why I joined the Sierra Leone Cancer Charity is because in my mother's family, there are 4 of them. So there's her and 3 siblings. All of them died of different cancers.
Look at that.
All 4 of them.
It's becoming...
So for me, it's personal, and that's why I became... and 2 of them were treated in Sierra Leone, 2 in England. But in both instances in Sierra Leone and in England, the treatment was defective.
Look at that.
Really. I mean, you know, my mother's was diagnosed like 2 months before.
I mean,
and she was in England. I just wasn't,
wow.
when I tell people, they say, "Oh, was it in Sierra Leone?" No,
It's
she was in
always
England.
hidden. It's
and
always
she
hidden.
lived 5 minutes from her doctor. In fact, when I moved into what used to be my mother's house, I actually refused to register with that doctor because I felt, if you're a sensible doctor and you have this patient who's been your patient for 14 years, and just 2 months before she dies is when you diagnose that,
That's
he was treating her
crazy.
for something else.
Oh my God.
Altogether, and that was in England, where people have all the facilities and all the whatever, and so that is part of the drive that
Actually,
made
for me,
want to
since
get
my
involved.
grandfather died, I've been so cancer conscious. I've been so cancer conscious. The doctors, etc., will tell you. Okay, I have a stomach condition. So when I read online about the condition, it actually led me to colon cancer.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
so when I read that, I'm like, okay, so this can be. I had to ask like few different doctors. Okay, is there a chance for this? Because
colon
I know
cancer,
somebody and I read it. Like, it's online now. There's certain things that you go through.
Yeah.
You go
And
through as
it's
a
a kind-
person in your body. It leads you to it.
I
I'm
know
not
it's,
saying
it's,
it's that.
I know it's a
You
danger.
get panicked. I
and
got panicked.
Doctors these days get fed up because people go online and they start, "Oh my God, have I got this? Have I got that?"
Me, I thought.
Yeah,
honestly, I thought I got
It's-
that.
yeah,
So I went to the doctor. He's like, it's not that extreme.
Yeah,
It's not what you think. But if the symptoms are related, but it's you don't want to have that call for like a false alarm. But the fact that these informations are online, it's also good. Because you can pressure your doctor to actually check for this cancer that you're talking about.
Well, I think the issue of cancer, like you said, it's a very serious one. And I mean, in the Gambia, what we have to do is more sensitization, to tell people it doesn't mean when you get it, you are just going to die instantly. So people think, okay, some people think when I get cancer, that's it for me. I'm
Most
done.
of the time.
You understand? So mentally, you keep dying with that, that mind. I have cancer. I mean, I don't think I will be treated.
Because part of it is because we don't have the facilities anyway to treat people. I mean, in Sierra Leone, I became shockingly aware of lots of people who should have been having chemotherapy because they did not have the facility. They were just giving them drugs to ease the pain. They were not treating them. They were not treating the condition. All they were doing was treating the pain. And of course, those people died. And that was quite shocking to me because lack of money, of course. But yeah.
And aside from that, there's a lot of people being treated for fibroids when they even have cancer. I just read online a celebrity, I can't remember the name, that was being treated for fibroids when it was cancer. So it means still there's a diagnostic problem.
Sure.
There's a problem when it comes to diagnosing cancer, and it's very unfortunate. So moving on, let's take a look at the presidency. Recently, we've seen how the president has his forums where he invites ministers to actually catch up with some of the activities and the projects that they're implementing, and also the subsequent introduction of a performance appraisal for government officials.
Yeah.
I think this is really good.
It's brilliant, and it's something that we've been calling for a very long time.
Yeah.
I mean, there have been times when we've said that this kind of effectively is a report card. All the ministries are coming and presenting to the president and saying, this is what I've done, and so on. And in fact, the discussion in the office was that perhaps this is what led to the reshuffle.
Yeah.
Perhaps he looked at some of the ministries and felt, okay, they're not performing as well as I think they should be, or the minister, and I'm going to change that minister. So that might have been, but it's a good thing.
Yeah.
And what is also good is that it then is communicated to us, the public. We get to know what these people, because it's once they've come from the behind the closed door meeting, they then tell us, and they give us a summary of what is happening and what they have passed on to the president. So it's a good thing, and I hope it continues.
You said it's a report card.
It's a kind of, I see it as a
report
report card, really. Yeah.
It is.
It's
It
a
is
kind
a
of
report
departmental
card.
Well,
ministerial
I
report
hope
card.
that the report card is not going to
Can do better.
its purpose. I mean, at some point, who is going to genuinely look at that report card before it gets to the president? I mean, it's not just a matter
I think
of
it's the president
putting.
directly.
Not just putting one or two things, maybe things that, I mean, that are not even implemented, and you give it to the president just to impress him that you've done something. People can do anything.
Does the president live on Mars?
Exactly.
How can you tell the president
their life on television?
How can you tell the president I've implemented this when he lives in the Gambia?
The thing is,
you have to
understand, Lord, report
appraisal.
benakalade.
Allow me to flow where I want to flow.
This river
if
is
you
going
don't allow me
this
to
river
flow,
is going to flow
you cannot
into
understand
a ditch.
where
Balde, you
I'm
didn't
coming
even listen
from.
to us.
Listen,
okay, go on.
Man can be very cunning. You understand? We have okay, fine. It's good to have the report card you're talking about for ministers and the president, but we want it to be genuine.
But so I'm throwing the question back to you. How can a minister say to the president, I have implemented this, I have built this bridge,
but the bridge
and
is
the
not
president
there.
said, where's the bridge? It's not there? What? Come on.
It's not only limited to
I
things like
just gave
bridges.
I just gave you
There
an
are
example.
things that can be minor.
Whatever.
The president might not be able to look into
But
those
in
things.
this
No.
instant, I
But what
doubt
I'm
that.
saying is, if you say to the president, you say, oh, that's interesting, so you've done this, can I see evidence of it?
Yes.
No,
Now, where I'm coming from, where I want to highlight
But
it,
you're saying
does
the
the
president is not
president, okay, does
inquisitive.
the president, is he going to deploy people to go and find out whether this is done or not? That's what I am trying to say.
But
Balde.
the thing is, like I said, when this report card is presented and they finish, they come out and they tell the public, you and I as journalists will say, okay, they told the president this, let's go and see whether this thing they said they have done has been done.
I am good with that. As far as we are going to see, I am good with that.
It's not
You
a
understand?
secret.
Because, I mean, there are many things that are being introduced. At the end of the time, they are not consistent. That's what I'm talking about, Mr. And you might agree.
That's a long-standing thing, because for me, if you come to the president and you say to me, 6 months ago, we validated this project, I as Mr. President, I would say, okay, you validated it 6 months. What have you implemented it? It's a simple question. It's a yes or no. Yes, we've implemented it, or no, we haven't because of this, that, or the other. So there are questions that, of course, the president can ask the minister, and that's the thing. For me, I don't think it's just a photo.
I just want it to be real.
Well,
I doubt that
but
either, because if it's an appraisal, like you mentioned before you started explaining this, Mr. Ade, there has been a cabinet reshuffle, and we are not confirming that this is directly related to that, but it could be that there are gaps that you've seen in certain areas and feel like there has to be changes.
Yeah.
And also, the president is a Gambian. He lives in the Gambia. You cannot in any way fool him and tell him that I have done this when you have not done it. It's not possible, because he's not living somewhere else.
You'll end up embarrassing
yourself. You dare not, because
so
he lives here.
There's no,
all of these things pass through him.
Now, where I will come with you is that if you are a minister who has not done something, you leave it out of the report card.
They will not even include it.
So you just include the stuff you have done.
Yes, that's how it's done.
I'm just trying to highlight the things that you've not done. Don't put them on that report card.
No, that's what I'm saying.
That's what they do.
That's what I'm saying.
No, because if you're
clever,
clever,
why are you talking as if you don't know the people?
No,
of
but
this
you're saying that they could be deceptive. They could say, "I've done something," when they haven't done it.
Understand now where you're talking from.
The way to get around that.
Anything can happen.
No, the way to get around it is not to include stuff that will embarrass you. Because if you say to the president and to the world, "I have done this," we can find out where you've done it.
In this day and age.
Better not to include it. Then nobody knows that you've left something out.
So, Mr. Ade, we have a minute to go. I decided to save the Senegalese election for
1
last.
minute?
I mean, it's not enough, but maybe they will give us just 3 minutes to wrap up before
1.5 minutes, maybe.
So 1.5, yes. So at least we've done justice to national affairs. Yeah. So yesterday, I was at the Senate. I went to like 3 polling stations. I went to Banjul, Kanifing, as well as Bakau, to just take a look at how Senegalese in the Gambia voted. But honestly, the turnout was good. Yeah. It was good turnout. As early as 8:30, you saw voters coming in to vote. And then, they talked about different things that when you watch the 8 p.m. news, you get to find out what they talked about. But just generally at the level of Senegal and all, currently provisional results, we can't confirm it, is showing that Bassirou Diomaye Faye is actually leading.
In the lead.
But we will have to wait for the
even the results that have come, because unlike the Gambia, the Senegalese diaspora can vote, as you found out when you went out. Yeah. So if you go to France, for example, or you go to Morocco, where they voted, in Morocco, Jomai Faye got 84% in one particular, I think in Rabat. In France, in Marseille, I think he got 82.1%. In Paris, he got 73.1%. So the diaspora vote,
he dominated.
He dominated
Even in
completely.
the polling station at the Senegalese school in Kanifing,
Yes.
they actually sent me, so I know somebody there who was sending results
the kind of
locally.
provisional, yeah.
The provisional, he also
so
won.
he smashed it in terms of that. So it's going to be interesting because yes, it will be whatever the reason or the whatever, they will have a new president because of course the incumbent did not contest. But yeah, it's an interesting result, and it goes back to us saying that it's a sign that in spite of all the troubles, Senegal's democracy seems to have survived.
Yeah.
Because the vote
It
has
was
been delayed.
tested.
It's only been delayed by, it was tested,
Yeah.
but it's only been delayed by 1 month because
Yeah.
it's exactly a month to, it would have been 25th of February.
Yeah.
It's 24th of March. So it's 1 month only that was lost. And so in terms of campaigning, people lost 3 weeks of campaigning, of course. But nonetheless, it seems to have gone peacefully. And we hope that, you know, and Jomai Faye gave an interview this morning and he said, whatever the result, anybody should accept the result. He said, because we don't think there was any funny
thing.
Stuff going on. So good, you know.
Even yesterday at the level of the Gambia as well, you know, the supervisor for the polling stations talked about how everything happened fairly and the fact that, you know, the citizens also understand the way they vote. And yesterday it was exciting for me because in the Gambia it's the marble. So for them, it's really challenging. I think the marble is just Mr. Ade for me, you know, that's how I see it. Because the paper, you have to like go around
19
and
candidates.
pick all the 19 candidates and then go behind and then pick the one you want, put it in the envelope and then throw. There's a bin where you throw the rest. I mean,
well, I think for me, I don't know whether we are used to the marble voting.
I think the marble is the
paper.
best.
The paper voting is too stressing.
It's
I've never
stressful.
voted with paper, but I think it's too stressing.
Me
In
too.
fact,
I think so, Mr. Ade.
the compilation of papers too can be another big
climate
deal,
change, right?
you know. So
Yes,
the marble,
it's
you
not
just pick
climate
the one
smart.
that you want to vote for, and you know,
The marble
and you
is
drop it in.
You just drop it in and you're done.
Yeah, quite.
But 19 candidates to have to pick all those papers?
Quite.
Why can't you just go and pick the one you're voting
So what
for?
are you going to do with because at the end you are picking only one. So what are you going to do with the rest?
There's a
You
bin.
dump- you dump the rest.
You
dump
dump
them?
it. Yes,
You
you
dump
dump it.
That's why. Yeah, that's why. It will
Interesting.
make and somebody can use it to light a fire or something.
Yeah.
But the other story that we didn't have time to do is, of course, the big story internationally, which is the attack on the Crocus Hall in Moscow, on the outskirts of Moscow. 137 people killed.
Yeah. And the Gambia actually, you know, had a press release to stand in solidarity with Russia on this. But thank you so much, Mr. Ade, for joining us on the
Pleasure,
program.
as always.
It's really good to have you here. And just to remind our viewers that OIC Secretariat is part of our sponsors. Thank you so much for coming on board, and the fact that we see that sense of unity and togetherness with the OIC. And the artists, I'm looking forward to the song. I saw Singate posting it, some snippets, and I was dancing already. I'm like, okay, let me be regulated. I'm in Ramadan.
Especially in Ramadan,
I can't
exactly.
dance, okay?
Exactly,
Let me be okay. But they're really good, our Gambia and everybody.
So it's going to be like We Are the
It's
World,
amazing.
where different artists are going to
Just
come
different
together.
artists.
Yeah.
And then also Lido, Mr. Ade. I know you're a coffee person.
I am very much a
so
coffee
Lido should be your go-to coffee. And then tea as well. We're in Ramadan. We really appreciate Lido and the entire team for coming on board to support this program. So we'll just go for a short break, and when we come back, the conversation continues. Do stay.
Lady Gambia non hebi weltare maunde wadande on OIC Summit hikka woni laabi sappo e joyi be dum bada he aduna he ngal dendal wadat balde nay ha balde joyi he lewru me hitande 2024 lambe horebe leydele ndewbe horebe leydele wondi hen e capande joyi e jeedi wobbe ngarnobe leydele moen ndendube e organisation of Islamic Cooperation be tawtoyte dum he nder leydi men wonat non ko yejjittaake ha abadan hikka non ngal dendal ko be jewtata hen ko woni no jam nyibirta darnde nde podden daro ha gonen gotum en fof jaaden pour bamtare men beydare hakkunde men he kulle yahotiral e leyɗele julɓe he e he aduna he fof ɓe noddan noon ɓiɓɓe leydi Gambia fof en fof garen gonen gotum ballen laamu ngu e nder darnde nde ɓe dari ha ngal dendal waɗanino ɓe jiɗiri ɗum gare jaɓɓoɗen ɓe hoɓɓe tedduɓe kollen ɓe cosaneji men aadaji men e leydi men no weydiri e aduna he gare ndenten e o taari daroɗen enen fof ha ngal dendal OIC mbaɗat ngal ɗo he leydi Gambia wona dendal ngal yejjittake.
before. In the Gambia, QCell is giving you an unbeatable offer. Activate our 5G network on your 5G-enabled phone and enjoy free internet for 7 days. Yes, you heard that right. Activate QCell's 5G on your phone and experience what true 5G internet feels like. Get your QCell SIM cards activated today at the following care centers: Banjul, Senegambia, Brikama, Bursubi Turntable, Bakau Airport, and Kairaba Avenue headquarters. Rush now and be part of the future with QCell's 5G. Free internet for 7 days only with QCell. For more information, call QCell Customer Care on 111. QCell Sunyubus. We innovate. Orders follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back from that short break. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV this morning. And Ibrahim, from Nekan, you will be taking a look at the
second
10 days of the Ramadan, which is the one that we are in, the second phase of it. And the last time Mr. Ba was here, what knew already about the first 10 days, duga nañ si second bi, and then to the third. And I know everybody's gearing up for the last 10 days, which everybody normally is really excited about. But Ibrahim, I think you had a question for Imam here on elections, because you're super excited. Ibrahim from Nekani, Amadou Ba naka ki nga support Jomai Fay nga support waaw ak Sonko waaye wax naa la ne nag affaire si xëj na baax na xaaral let me just keep this for later.
The thing is, I mean, am nga ku nekk ak foo féete man ñi ñooma saf so moo tax man ñoom laa àndal, ok
man ni kenn safuma si
safaaguñ la
kenn safuma si ñoom man si diggante
léegi ñu dalal Oustaz ñu waxtaan ak moom about the importance of the second 10 days of Ramadan. ñu ngi laa dalal.
waaw Oustaz Aboubacar Diallo, thank you so much. jërëjëf si li ñu join fii tey kontaan nañ torop comme Ibrahima nu mu ko waxee rek ñu discuss about the second phase of Ramadan bi si boppam te dugga nañ si ba pare te léegi tey mu jeex. So normally second phase bi what is expected of ñun as Muslims?
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيد الأولين والآخرين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. gannaaw buñ sante yàlla julli ci yonent yàlla Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam ñu ngi leen di nuyu bu baax a baax di leen ndokkale ci weeru koor bi ñu nekk di jiital ci nuyu bi nag mooy njiiti réew mi ak mboolem kilifa diine yëpp di leen ndokkale imaam yi di leen ñaanal ci taxawaay bu rafet bi ñu nekk ci weeru koor gi fa tabarakallah ak mbokki jullit ñi yëpp fa tabarakallah ñu ngi ñuy ziyaare ñëpp fa tabarakallah fu mu nekk nii ñu ngi ci ñaareeli fukki fan bi ci weeru koor bi dafa am ñetti fukk yuñ ko xaaj benn bi weesu na ñu ngi ci ñaareel bi fa tabarakallah ñaareel bi nag sunu borom subhanahu wa taala daf ko jagleel njéggal doomu aadama yi mooy magfira di jéggal doomu aadama yi ndax Ramadan si boppam muy weeru koor dafa mel ni programme bu yàlla teg la gannaaw bu jiitandi yërmande teg si nag ñaan leen ma jéggal leen kon fukki fan yuñ nekk ni yàlla dafay jéggale bàkkaar suñ ne jéggale bàkkaar nag dafa am lum làmboo ndax dafa am mission bu ñooy dem mission bi fu mooy jeexee mooy ñun ñëpp dañu war a ragal yàlla te balaa ñooy ragal yàlla nag dafa am yoo xam ne ñu topp dafa war a deñ si ñun mooy bàkkaar yi fekk mu ngi ci yow am na loo dese waaye su bàkkaar yi setee nag su boobaa ragal yàlla dana mën a sax si xol bi soo setal bàkkaar yooyu nag mooy si fukki fan yi nekk nii yàlla fii dafa tàllal loxoom ne ñaan leen ma jéggal te ñaan jéggal bii nag du bàkkaar bu ndaw du bu mag du boo xam boo xamut boo yëg ak boo yëgut yëpp la yàlla di baale kon yëpp nga war a ñaan yàlla pour mu jéggal la ko bàkkaar yi nag nit ki suy jéggalu dafa am lu tax comme yow da nga def dara léegi réccu nga ko nga bugg a cee dellu gannaaw mooy ñaan jéggal da nga am koo tooñ kiñ tooñ nag mooy yàlla tooñ nañ suñ bopp tooñ yàlla amut kenn ku si mucc nag ñun ñëpp ay defkati bàkkaar la mooy yëg nañ ko wala yëguñ ko kon daf ñu war ñun ñëpp ñu ñaan yàlla sunu borom subhanahu wa taala mu jéggal ñu suñuy bàkkaar yi suñu yàlla di jéggal bàkkaar nag doo toog rek ne yàlla baalal ma yàlla ne la baalal naa la du noonu dafa am ay sarte yoo xam ne da nga si war a jaar ne yàlla jéggal ma yooyu ñooy lan mooy benn al awdatu ilallah da nga jëloon yoon boo xam ne dafa moy si yoon bu jëm ci borom bi subhanahu wa taala mooy ngay def bàkkaar nga yëg ko ngay dellu si yàlla subhanahu wa taala mooy benn ñaareel bi mooy nga bàyyi bàkkaar bi si boppam bàkkaar bi ngay jéggalu da nga koy bàyyi waaw doo si delluwaat soo ko bàyyee nga fas yéene nag mooy ñetteel bi mooy nga rëccu lu taxoon nga def ko bàkkaar bi soo rëccoo lu taxoon nga def bàkkaar bii nii bi si tegu mooy nga fas yéene nag dogu ne duma jaaraat si bàkkaar bii soo ko defee sunu borom subhanahu wa taala ne jéggal naa la waaye sooy jéggalu bàkkaar te yow si sa yéene mooy da nga dellu si bàkkaar bii nii yow pareeguloo si bàkkaar wala ngay jéggalu bàkkaar te yaa ngi si kawam ba léegi yaa ngi koy def kon yow dafa mel ni jéggaluwuloo wala yow ngay jéggalu bàkkaar te yow rëccuwuloo lu taxoon nga def bàkkaar boobu noonu kon sarte yi mooy tax ñu jéggal la bàkkaar sarte yi nag ku ko def ba mu mat nga jéggalu yàlla jéggal na la bàkkaar bi
dëgguma la de waaye xam nga sometimes nga dégg ko wax na sane ok yaa ngi def lu bon nit ne la waaye yow xam nga ne li nga nekk di def nii moom baaxut nga ne ko waaw maa ngi koo def léegi but for example 3 days later dinaa baalu comme xam nga ne si li nga nekk nekkut li nga xamante ne dafa baax waaye si biiram yaa ngi si kawam waaye yaa ngi wax ne xay bul woori after dinaa jégalu rek loolu façon baakaar bu is it soo demee jégalu naka la moom mel because already xam nga kuy def lu bon moom obviously xam nga ko waaye xëy na dangaa dem ba si kanam nga change sa mind completely man xam naa lu ma nekk def ni baaxut but dinaa change eventually but xam nga yéene di nga ne there's some sense of responsibility daal xam nga ko and then you're like maa ngi si ko am but bul worry after dinaa jégalu comme that negligence bu fa nekk daal so boobu naka nga ko gisee
boobu dafa wóorut
ok
dafa wóorut ndax nit ki kenn xamul luy xew ëllëg wala luy xew sa gannaaw sa wala soo fi jógee léegi-léegi moo tax dafa wóorut
wóorut dafa risqué de
dafa risqué naan moo tax bàkkaar moom soo yëgee ne yaa ngi koy def rek nga bàyyi ko jéggalu moom
ndeysaan
nga bàyyi ko nga jéggalu waaye naan ma xaar ba nangam xaar boobu noonu nekku sa loxo mu ngi si loxo ki ngay tooñ sa di yàlla sunu borom kon lu gën a wóor mooy saa yoo yëgee ne yaa ngi def bàkkaar xamal ne yàlla def na yërmandem ci yow gannaaw yëg nga ko xam nga mënoon nga koo ñàkk yëg waaye su la yàlla mayee yëg-yëg ne yow yëg nga ne yaa ngi def bàkkaar mooy yàlla am na lum namm comme bugg na yow nga tuub yow war ngaa sant yàlla
dëgg la
yàlla boole na liñ ci li ñu bëgg kon li la war mooy nga bàyyi bàkkaar bi nga tuub c'est ça si
dëgg la da nga dee gis ñoo xam ne tam dañoo jël alali jàmbur ñu lekk ko si kaw ñu jël ko nii rek lekk ko waaye gars yi maybe dañ ko jël ñu dugal ko si leneen lifin ko waaye ñooñu noonu naka la gars yi mun a jégaloo seen baakaar because fooguma 10 days of Ramadan bi dina mun a baalal gars yi seen baakaar
dafa am ñaari bàkkaar bu nekk sama digganteeg yow doomu aadama
exactly
ak bàkkaar yu nekk suñ diggante ak sunu borom subhanahu wa taala
exactly
waaw yàlla li mooy baale mooy li nga def wala lu nekk sa digganteeg moom waaye soo jëlee alali jàmbur loolu yow ak jàmbur ji la kooku ngay jéggalu
foog nga dem ci moom
moo tax bala su weeru koor bi di teru dañuy ñaanalante njéggal comme ñun ñoo bokk liggéey bi fii nga ne baal ma ak baal naa la dina dem sax ba ku ne bàkkaar yi ma yëg ak yi ma yëgut yëpp maa ngi ñaan jéggal nga jéggal ma ko yi ma mën a wax yi ma mënta wax ndax am na bàkkaar yoo xam ne mënoo koo wax borom waaye
am na yoo xam ne moom doo ko wax
waaye imaam foog nga ne loolu feeya na
waaw
comme am na yenn tooñ yi nga xamante ne comme xëy na dafa rëy ba nga xam ne yow mënuloo dem si borom nga wax ko waaye naka ngay xamee na tooñ boobu kooku bu doon xam na ko ndax dina la jégal wala du la jégal kon fooguloo da nga war a dem si kooku ne ko ah bés nangam de waxaloon naa la lii comme Balde am na lu ma ko waxaloon li nga xam ne yaaxana deram wala tuuti loon na ko si biir nit ñi mun naa dem si Balde ma ne ko ah bés bi de waxoon naa lii si yow te tuutal na la wala wax naa li si yow sa der yaaxoon na si parce que nga yaaxa der moom lu rëy la
waaw
ak tuutil nit comme si yéen a wax anami
man de bu dee man la soo ñëwee dama laa ne jégal naa la
waaw man nag déedéet xam nga ku nekk ak non man daal boo ñëwee wax ma ni mu fa demee dinaa la ko jégal waaye man dama fiil ne da nga am responsibility comme que yow dem nga ba wax yaa xaddari nit oo tuutal nit si kaddu war ngaa de same way noo ko defee si suma gannaaw suma kanam tam suma toogee ñëwal nga waxaa man ma jégal la te yàlla tax waaye soo ma ko mënut a wax nag lu ma xamul nag pour ma jégal la ko dina métti
soo ko defee social media moom da nga war a demaat social media
waxati ko fa
nga ne man daal lu ma doon wax ay fen la
mu jeex
waaw
kooku jégal la
dafa am tawbatan nasuha comme jéggalu boo xam ne bu set la
exactly
jéggalu façon yooyu mooy li nga jëloon ci waa ji nga delloo ko
exactly
li nga fi nga jaaroon yàq ko nga jaaraat fa defaraat ko waaye yooyu nag dafa am yoo xam ne mën nañ koo def am na yoo xam ne mën na yu defuwut am na luñ mën a wax am na li nga mën a tooñ nit ki nga dellu wax ko ñaan ko comme nga jaar si turam yàqu deram wala yàqal ko dara mën ngaa dem si moom ne ko yàqaloon naa la lii ak lii ak lii waaye am na yoo xam ne mënuñ koo delloo
duñ ko mën a defaraat daal
waaw tey soo demoon joteeg jabari jàmbur tooñ nga ko ndax mën ngaa dellu si moom ne ko jote naag sa jabar loolu kenn mënu koo delloo loolu kenn mënu koo delloo
boobu ustaas
imaam boobu dafa rëy
boobu kenn waaw dafa bokk si yoo xam ne
waaw yooyu doo ko mun a wax
doo ko mun a delloo
yooyu mun nga koo waxam
loolu
yooyu munuloo koo waxam
lu muy yàq mu ëpp lu
gamu xam naa ne yaa ngi si biir di ree
waaw moo tax
caay
moo tax imaam nit ñi war a xam tamit naka la ñoo doxalee parce que xam nga diggante nit ak nit daal man dama fone lu diis la
lu diis
comme ni nga ko waxee
waaw
yàlla dafa am yërmande trop waaye at the end of the day nit ki nit rek la
waaw
so dafa am yoo xam ne dafa rëy xëy na moo tax yéen tamit soo leen dee waare ngeen dee wa ñun ñëpp ñu xam fu ñuy teg suñ tànka ak lu ñuy wax si nit
waaw loolu
parce que loolu kenn du ko mën a delloo li nga wax nii
waaw dafa am tooñ yoo xam ne kenn mënu koo delloo
waaw
façon tooñ yooyu nag ba léegi mun nga koo jéggalu nag mun nga koo jéggalu naan tooñ bi ma la tooñ yëpp li ma la tooñ yëpp nga jéggal ma ko waaw nga dugalaale boobu ci biir am na ñu ne soo ko defee ñu ne la jéggal naa la borom xam-xam yu saxal ne boobu dugg
waaye léegi yow
te tuddoo ko
léegi man bu nekkee man
waaw
jël naa sa alal boobu moom mun su ma ñëwee si yow ma ne la ne jël naa lii de jégal ma soo ma jégale
waaw su baal naa la
bàkkaar bi faru
na soo jëloon alali jàmbur nga dellu si moom ne jëloon naa sa alal bii bu dee yaa ngi ko amee sax nga delloo sa alal bi delloo ko jox ko ne ko lii de maa ko jëloon waaw seytaane moo ma jàpp ma jël sa lii mu ngi nii delloo naa ko maa ngi ñaan sa jéggal
ndeysaan
waaw loolu mën nañ koo delloo bu dee yaa ngi ko yore bu dee yorewuloo ko it mun ngaa ñëw ne ko li ma jëloon ci yow maa jëloon nangam ci yow maa la defoon nangam maa la waxoon nangam maa demoon fii ne lii ak lii ak lii waaye maa ngi tuub di ñaan jéggal si yow
ok am na benn message bu interesting bu ñëw kii mu ne moom daf dee dem ba tuub waaye sometimes yum tuub loolu daf dee gis ne daf dee fall into it again
daf si dee dellu
waaw daf si dee dellu comme maanaam daf dee dem ba bàyyi dara du yàgg rek mu ñëwaat mu dugaat si
waaw xam nga sunu borom yërmandeem dafa yaatu yàlla duy tëj buntu jéggal da ko tëj fekk àgguloo si xar-xara mooy nit ki su demee ba dara desatul mooy mu faatu
waaw
kooku si ne yàlla jéggal ma yàlla dafay ne weesu na waaye fépp yaa ngi am dund ak kàttan yàlla xam na ne danañ def bàkkaar waaye saa yuñ defee bàkkaar nit lañ dañ war a dellu tuub ci moom
waaye
kon moom li may wax ni bu dee def na bàkkaar mu dellu si na delluwaat tuubaat waaye dafa war a nag riccu si biir xol bi ne lu taxul mu def bàkkaar bi mu fas yéene bi bu mu ko defaat yooyu dafa am solo yooyu soo ko defut càggante mun na laa jàpp nga delluwaat ci waaye soo ko defee da ngay bàyyi sa xel si loolu
waaye oustaz dafa am benn xadis bu ne waaw yonente sallallahu alayhi wa sallam mu ne su nekkee da ngeen naa nekk si àddina bi fii doo leen def bàkkaar yàlla daf leen naa waay bi yéen yëpp mu indi ñuy def bàkkaar di jégalu dégg nga xadis boobu
dégg naa xadis bi
so loolu xanaa daf ñoo motiver pour ñu def bàkkaar
yàlla daf ñooy woon ne nit ngeen
waaw
nit
mistakes
wax naa la si ñaar la nekk si diggante ñaar la nekk foog muy fàtte foog muy moy nit a mel noonu lañ ko mooñee malayka yàlla daf ko programme noo xam ne moom mënta moy moom malayka la kon nit mënta mel ni malayka nit dafay moy soo moyee nag tuub bi ngay def di dellu si boobu it jaamu yàlla la boobu tamit jaamu yàlla la so nit dana jaamu yàlla sax si moy ko ba pare dellu di tuub boobu noonu nangu ndogalu yàlla
ndeysaan
nga def sa bopp si palaasu nit xam nga nit koo gis dana juum soo demee ba bëgg a weesuloo sa bopp njuumte rek yow dafa mel ni bëgg ngaa génn si cadre nit te nit rek nga war a nekk te yàlla dafa bëgg nit nekk nit mu des fa
waaw am na ñu
moom yàlla mu nekk yàlla
am na ñu ma dégg sax ma ne foog ne ñooy duñ dee juum de
ñëpp ay juum
waaw there's a mistake
am na ñeena ñoo xam ne nuñ dee waxee dang dee foog ne duñ dee juum ba pare at some point tam bugga naa léegi suñ demee suñ jumaa yi sa léegi imaam yi suñoo waare comme ñuy xutba juma bugga naa ñuy wax yu ne understand nga waaye sometimes wax yuñ dee wax def de bugga nga sol sa daala nga daw jumaa ji léegi dama bugga imaam yi ñuy joxe confidence ok jaamu leen yàlla jël leen lekka yu baax dawal leen moto yu ne understand nga toppatoo leen seen njaboot yi waaye yeneen yi tam daf dee garaaw de yeneen yi dañ dee seetaan mufti menk daf laa woon ne there is hope
waaw mufti menk noonu la dee waaree
waaye soo ma ne lii soo ko defee rek jahannaba
waaw
bu yàggee
li nga wax dëgg la
man naka lay def
ba pare
te xam naa ne man si loolu laa ne
imam moom li moo wax ni is very reasonable
sa xaalis bi yëpp bu nekk di dem banque yëpp jahannaba la understand ba pare man xam naa ne man suma salary si banque bi lañ ko dee fay man it's not my fault ñu ngi ko fay si banque bi suma structure la man naka lay def
wax nga dëgg Balde
loolu lu am
nga diinu ak diinu yusrun diine dafa yomb wala yusaadu diinu ahad illa galaba diine yu yomb la bassiru wala tunaffiru yàlla dafa ne na ngeen bëggal nit ñi na ngeen woyofal mbir mi si nit ñi bu leen dàq
dëgg la
yonent bi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam ñu ne mas na ceeñ kanamam wécci kanamam si benn saxaaba di ko naan bu leen di dàq mooy soo ko jafelee bu baax nit ñi dañooy foog ne lii dafa métti attanuñ ko te am na ñoo xam ne dañ xaraamal xaraam dañ wax xaraam ak safara bi ñëpp foog nañ ne diine xaraam ak safara te diine lu yomb la lu nit war di def la am ci kontaante am ci mbégte
willingly
nga dund sa dund bu kii waaw yonent bi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam daf doon ñaax leen di jaamu yàlla waaye mu ne leen bu leen fàtte seen cër tamit si àdduna fii wala tansa nasibaka min ad-dunya bul fàtte sa cër si àdduna bi fii tamit waaw Umar bunul Xattaab daf daan wax ne mu ne na nga ragal yàlla jaamu ko ba mel ni suba ngay dee waaye na nga liggéeyal sa àdduna fii tamit ni nga fi dundee yàgg fi am fi bànneex
ba mel ni doo dee
exactement
doo fi jóge
waaw imam time moom dafa jee waaye xam nga li nga wax ni foog ñu ñëwaat la because sometimes nga gis kuy jàng sax anyway
waxtaan bu
su
am
ma si
solo
duggee rek dafaa gën a
waaw
sori
dañ war a
fu mu
waaw
nekk
nañ
nii
accommodate hante rek xam nga léegi
ñu follow up
waaw léegi
because li nga wax ni lu important
lu am solo la
lu am solo la
nit ñi si jumaa yi ak si
extrémisme bi la
waarekat yi yëpp dañ war a wàññi
extrémisme
foog ñu dunda tam
jox nit ñi hope
suñ life
waaw waaw waxuñ la dunda bi nga wax
ñu dunda bem romba de imam
waaw.
fii koo xam ne dunda nga bem to the extreme da nga sa xel bi daf laa ne yaa ngi jéggi de
waaw waaye dafa mel ni 10 minutes rek lañ dese
exactly
within the limit
exactly
waaye imam thank you so much si li nga ñëw fii nii te waxtaan bi am na solo comme man nu ma ko dee waxee man ñun imam yu dee ñëw fii nekkuñ ay extremist dañu dee wax religion bi in a very reasonable way tey di nga gis ne léegi jamono fu mu toll noonu rek nga mën a def pour am nit ñi because am na noo koy defee rek nga daaxalee
mees nag dafa xaraam de mees moom loolu jaru sax ñu naay ser ko loolu xaraam la
let's go for a short break we'll be right back.
Technology has always been at the forefront of our lives, and the way we use it has evolved drastically over the years. With the advent of 5G internet, we are entering a new era of technological innovation that promises to transform the way we live, work, and play. 5G internet is capable of providing data speeds up to 100 times faster than 4G, making it the ideal solution for streaming high-quality videos, playing online games, and downloading large files on the go. 5G internet is already transforming cities across the globe, powering smart cities, self-driving cars, and virtual reality experiences that were once thought impossible. 5G internet is also paving the way for Internet of Things, allowing for seamless connectivity between devices and the creation of a truly connected world. For the first time in the Gambia, QCell is bringing tomorrow's technology to you today with the launch of QCell 5G Internet. Get ready to experience the out-of-this-world wonders of QCell's 5G Internet. For more information, call 111. QCell. We innovate, others follow.
The future is now with QCell's 5G network. Experience speeds like never before with our new 5G Rocket Fixed Internet plan. Get speeds from 10 Mbps to 100 Mbps. Your 5G-enabled devices. Walk into QCell headquarters to get one of our 5G routers and experience the true feeling of 5G. Only with QCell. QCell brings you the future. Tech, innovation, incredible speed. The future is now. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sunyabus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
QCell mooy suñu boss. QCell mooy suñu boss. QCell mooy suñu boss. Go, ebe dawa full network suda tili QCell. Ni lafta diamla wati jamala mune diata QCell. Most reliable network dumala keta wati QCell. Wo quality man nyon soto jam ona manke QCell. Hanibe wulo ni farole kono walante be bako na jala fayola network ko se taria QCell sunyu boss. Nyo finjeka indi 3G ñu delu taxi 4G plus and now we bring you 5G. 5G. First and only 5G provider. Itella follow adi doron nesa keno. Gambia bela nyon tawa fele QCell. Ko fasun tawa buka busi QCell. Itella molti milka kukutol nati Gambia. QCell meda lori la kilianol yele imanjina amanda wala itella ka quality dila dadi ma itelle silo wala wodol mume be keno ma. QCell sunibus. QCell sunibus. QCell sunibus. QCell sunibus. Connection be bambandi QCell sunibus. QCell most innovative QCell sunibus.
Welcome back from that short break. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV this morning. And now we're joined by representatives from the Mam Amata Foundation and and we're here with Babukar Sen, who's the coordinator, as well as Joe Sengor, who's the executive director of the foundation. So thank you so much for joining us. So quickly, Mr. Sengor, why the Mam Amata Foundation in the Gambia?
Well, the Mam Amata Foundation was established in 2004. And it was established in the U.S. And it was established by the young people of the Mam Amata family.
Okay.
And the Mam Amata family is based here in the Gambia. And the young people who are based in the U.S., they established the foundation in order to bring back the foundation home and help help here in the Gambia. So since 2007, the foundation came here in the Gambia and we started doing programs for the populace.
Okay. So you are the coordinator, Mr. Sen. You are the coordinator of the foundation. What has been some of your activities over the years?
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. We are so grateful. The foundation is a very big foundation. We have been doing a lot of activities concerning about, helping the needy, helping the less privileged, and also trying to develop sport, encourage people who are into the sport and then the health industry. We used to organize running events. We also used to organize, beach trainings. It's all about promoting health. And
health, right.
Yes.
So,
can I add on to that?
Yes, quickly.
Yeah, maybe to go through the mission also. You have done a good job there. Great. As you said, the mission is to help in the needy, and also to help underprivileged and young people, or to exploit their potential through education. Okay.
So do you have school packages?
Yes, we normally sponsor young people who cannot pay their tuition fee. And that not from primary school up to a higher level.
Okay, who's funding
And at the same time, we also help, as I said, as we are doing here. We are here to talk on sports and so forth. So we also help on for the welfare of the people, promoting sports for people to help themselves to fight against these non-communicable diseases, such as the race that we're doing, the walk that we're doing, etc., etc.
So sorry, I'm rushing you because due to time constraints, you will come again on the show, I'm sure, to delve more into this. But talk to us about the walk that is coming up, Mr. Coordinator.
Okay, thank you so much once again. We have 2 events, very important events. On the Easter Day, which is the 10-kilometer running, which is going to start at Westfield, right to Banjul, and then the 3 kilometers walk, which is starting at Danton Bridge to the Jar Oil at the beach. Yes, before at Bond Road. That's where they are going to stop. So this is very important. We are just encouraging people to come and take part.
It's open to the public, right?
It's open at all ages, whether you're young or old. You can come and then, enjoy the good health that we are trying to promote. It's going to be on Ramadan, but we have a lot of things in hands to present or to give to the people that are taking part, which is
I know they'll just give us a few seconds. Why did you select Easter to do this? Quickly, we have seconds to go.
Right, Easter Monday, just to celebrate Easter and also to bring people to promote a healthy lifestyle through the running and walking, and also to bring people together.
During the Easter.
Yeah, Easter Monday, which is a holiday.
Quickly before we go, I will say
So
hello
I'm afraid
no, this is important. Our Sanyang of the Gambia Police Force promoted to a sergeant. She is a follower. She watched this program.
Okay, so congratulations to our. So thank you so much to your foundation for the amazing work that you do. We really appreciate it. But due to time constraints, we cannot delve into everything. But I'm sure we'll be able to schedule another program after your run. You can come and tell us how the run was. But I'm sure I'll be there because I need to lose some pounds. I'm so Teres Correa, I'm sure she needs to lose some pounds. He even needs to lose some pounds. So man lose some pounds. So I'll definitely be joining it with my colleagues. But thank you so much. Till we come your way tomorrow. Bye for now.
Okay.
Thank you.
To host the 15th OIC Summit on the 4th and 5th May 2024. The second largest gathering of world leaders, kings, presidents, rulers, prime ministers, along with delegates from 57 member countries of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, will gather in our beloved nation for this historic event. The theme of the summit is enhancing unity and solidarity through dialogue for sustainable development. It's a platform to foster cooperation, promote peace, and drive sustainable development across the Ummah and the world at large. We call on all Gambians to unite and support the government as it strives to host a memorable and successful event. Let's showcase our hospitality, culture, and the beauty of the Gambia to the world. Join us in making history. Let's stand together, united as one, to ensure the 15th OIC Summit in the Gambia is an event to remember. Together, we can make